Did you ever wonder what it would be like to be one of the last people on Earth?
We're talking ghost town!
Who would you see?
There's nobody. There's nobody. Ah!
What would you do?
Hey, I'm sorry if the end of the world makes me a little nervous.
Where would you go?
The stars are open!
Well, get ready to find out, because the comet is coming into your orbit.
The legal drinking age is now 10, but you will need ID. Let's be real.
It's the night of the comet.
What do you give me if I come back?
Texas?
Night of the comet.
I'll be taking requests from all you teenage comet zombies.
The night the teenagers ruled the world.
Yeah!
Night of the comet.
The burden of civilization is on us.
Fiction, isn't it?
All right. We'll give it 5 seconds for Harambe.
Man, it sucks. It's only been like a few weeks and we've already cut his time in half.
I know. Poor fucking Harambe.
Well,
maybe you need to, maybe I think you specifically, Brock, need to maybe take a little time of introspection and get in touch with Harambe so that you can get back in the fold here.
He needs to lead me.
5 seconds. Like, you're taking away half his time, but what's 5 seconds to you? You're living.
You know what? Harambe, take the wheel.
Harambe, take the wheel.
Harambe is my co-pilot.
Yeah, Harambe sits next to me.
For your website, you do need to make a Harambe is my co-pilot
Yes.
bumper sticker.
Yeah, Harambe. Oh my God.
Anywho, 10
Okay.
seconds for Harambe.
Okay.
And Harambe.
Cool. Welcome to the Drop Culture Podcast. This is a podcast that picks up that piece of pop culture that you forgot about or missed, shines it up real nice, and then crams it in your ear holes. I'm Brock. In the studio, as always, we have to the right of me,
Mitchell. And to the right of me.
Oh, Dan.
And this week's topic is Night of the Comet.
Yes.
Love this movie.
Yeah. A movie that I've never heard of, never seen anything until I watched it for this.
What'd you think?
I actually really liked it. It was, I watched the trailer first because that usually gets me a little excited if it has a slower start, you know?
Yeah.
And so I watched the trailer to kind of get a idea of it. After doing so, I was like, okay, this actually kind of seems interesting. And it seemed more of for a younger audience at that time to grasp them, but also have that element of a horror movie / adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we can get into how that was kind of developed here in just a bit, actually.
Well, basically, let's take you through the synopsis real quick on this movie. It's about a comet that passes Earth that's basically in such a wide elliptical orbit that it only passes once every, 250,000 years or something.
Longer than that, because the last time it was
years,
there, the dinosaurs passed.
Yeah, so it's 65 million years.
And don't forget, it also makes the sky turn into 70s graphics.
Well,
of course it does.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Purple background.
Isn't that what happens when your once every 65 million year comet comes by?
If that happened for the dinosaurs, at least they went out in awe. They were just like, wow.
Hopefully they were on some psilocybin.
Yeah, they probably were.
But yet it never penetrated their bones. The fossils.
Oh my
and
God.
Oh.
Fuck you, Mitch.
I'm sorry. It's something
logic.
No,
gone.
Because the dinosaurs were larger, their bones were denser.
Oh, we just nailed it. We just figured it out. That
was close. This is a total bullshit, but it was close.
It works.
So close.
Yes. So basically it crosses Earth, on December 14th? Like 1986 or some shit like that.
I had forgot that this was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Like, it'd been a long time since I've seen this.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, it was basically 11 more days of shopping for this Christmas. So
what day was it?
December 14th.
Okay.
I think somebody actually put it out. It's in the trivia for IMDb.
Actually, before we get too deep, I want to say the one reason I knew this wasn't going to be a huge, like, big horror movie, because it wasn't like a really horror.
You mean really steeped in horror?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a big movie, just like deep into the horror aspect of it, is because they didn't have some type of nut or preacher out on the road going, the
end is nigh.
Yeah.
No, they had
Nothing.
people out in the streets with signs that said, "I love the Comet."
The Comet has done nothing for me, but I am in love with it.
Yes. Everything is safe.
It's a reason to
Yes.
It's a reason to celebrate. So
Yes.
Exactly.
It's a
Kind of how Halley's Comet was back in the 80s.
Yeah. I think somebody even says something about that in that, or
Yeah, they do.
yeah, Haley's Comet passed by, and I was only 4.
Halley's Comet,
Four.
just a little quick note. Mark Twain was born when the Halley's Comet came through and died when the Halley's Comet came
That's
through the
right.
next time.
That's right.
He was exactly 75, I think it is, or
Something
whatever.
like that. Yeah, Samuel Clemens.
What are the odds of that? He's on that
Not
star.
very good, I wouldn't think.
That's fucked up.
He rides that comet now forever.
Oh, you know what? If it's worth doing, you got to do it right.
That's right.
Okay,
They're
thank
all-
you for
they're all-
going along with my thing, but we can move on.
They're all Aryans. Okay. So now we've given you the basic plot of it, right? Let's kind of get into who directed, everything like that. So it was directed by Thomas Eberhardt.
Yes.
And he also wrote it as well. A couple of notable films that I researched about him. He did Captain Ron.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking awesome. And everybody loves Kurt Russell in that movie. He was
Absolutely.
pretty bitchin'. And then he also did Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
I saw that as well.
But not the first one?
No.
Just Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
The second one. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's I don't know, it's pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't really have a big prolific career, but then he made this movie, which is literally like gold. I think even Mary Warnoff, she basically said something like, "This is not going to last. It's not very culturally."
Well,
Blah, blah,
and when
blah.
we get into her character, we'll talk about why maybe her perspective was that way.
A little skewed. Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about her.
Yeah,
in a minute.
yeah, exactly.
It was produced by Wayne Crawford. He was a producer on Hill Street Blues.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
what more can you ask for?
Yeah, and then Andrew Lane, Valley Girl.
Yes.
That's where the connection.
That's
with
where
a
we
lot of
get
stuff.
to a lot of connections with this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
and
there's
really,
a-
this is what the studio wanted, was to build off of that Valley Girl had just been successful the prior year.
Correct.
So
They
yeah.
even had the soundtrack for Valley Girl
Yes.
on it, and then also this is a very big influence for Joss Whedon
Yes.
for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yes.
So did you know that, Mitch?
I did not.
That was
I really
he,
didn't.
he
Cool.
cited the main character, well, the two girl characters,
Yeah.
as his inspiration for
Yeah.
Buffy.
That's really
It's
cool.
fucking cool, man.
Well, they were
Yeah.
just like, go get them gunners, you know?
Yeah.
But-
Well, they were trained by
Right.
their dad.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was just pretty cool. And
So
then
before we get too far into actors or anything like that, this movie had a budget of $700,000.
for the time that was nothing. It was 1984.
Right.
It's still nothing. It's
And
even
it
more
gro-
of nothing.
And it grossed on its first weekend $3.5 million,
Oh,
and made $14.4 million before it was all said and done.
Big
That
success
was a
for the
good
80s.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 1984, shit. Because what other movie,
$700,000 budget, dude.
what other movie came out after this one that was kind of another sci-fi kind of a deal that did pretty good afterwards too? Anyway,
After this one?
yeah, there was one that came out like a couple of weeks afterwards. It was
Well, I know
actually pretty big.
this and Last Starfighter came out the same year.
Yeah, because
And she's
it's-
in both of them. We'll get into her.
Yeah,
here in just a
Catherine Mary
minute, but-
Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay, cinematography was done by Arthur Albert. He did the cinematography. I can't say it.
cinematography.
Okay. For Happy Gilmore, Better Call Saul, Dirty Work.
Oh.
Fucking Dirty Work's pretty
Better
bad.
Call Saul
Absolutely.
as well.
I love
Nice.
that one. And it was edited by Fred Stafford. He also did a lot of the sound editing too. And if you listen to this one too, I love to watch these movies now that I've watched them so many times on a regular TV speakers. If you watch them with headphones, you can hear,
Oh.
the meticulous, quality to the sound effects in a lot of these, which is pretty
Absolutely.
cool. So they really get you. And in the theaters, you really can't hear just the same way. but even then they were still doing THX stuff. They invented the extra speaker and all the other crap like that with Star Wars.
And I recommend if you can't just do the headphone thing, which is awesome because you hear a lot, just have a really good car stereo. Because if you have a car stereo that you can play a movie through, and you have that set up right, oh my God, dude.
You're in the right spot.
Because you're just in this capsule, you know? Like, I'm just going to sit here for 2 hours and watch a movie.
That'd be cool.
Fine with that.
Yeah, oh yeah. We used to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the way to school.
Yeah, nice.
Turn it up on my stereo in my truck, and it was like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was awesome. Okay.
Anyways.
So let's get into all the principal actors in this one. Robert Beltran, he played Hector, right?
That's Hector.
Or Heck.
Hector.
What was his name? Heck something Garcia or something like that.
Killed my father prepared to die.
Right.
You know, this dude was in another Mary Warnoff movie. He was in Eating Raoul.
Yes.
And he was also Chakotay on one of the
Star Trek Voyager, which he actually won like a daytime, or not a daytime, but he won some sort of awards for.
Yeah.
Was it an Emmy?
I think probably.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's a good actor, and he didn't really want to do this one at first because he didn't want to perpetuate the Cholo style
culture.
to it.
Right.
He looks the same. He doesn't look any older.
No,
I think most of these characters were, and like in real life
Ageless.
now,
Yeah.
for real, they all look really close. You can tell they're older, but
So I didn't watch Star Trek. So I didn't know that
he was a
on-
space Indian.
No, I had no idea. But what I remembered this guy from was Chuck Norris, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Yep.
Because
That
he
was
was
the
the
other one I was gonna
deputy
say.
in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember him in parts like that, and of course, Eating Raoul.
Yep. That was his first movie, I think. He was friends with the director of Eating Raoul and decided that he was going to do that. But that's got Mary Warnoff and Paul Bartel.
Yes.
So, and they were also in another movie together, which was Chopping Mall.
Which is we'll get to in a minute too, because it's got some other principal actors in it.
Yes, exactly. So after that, we got Catherine Mary Stewart. She plays Reggie or Regina. Of course, The Last Starfighter, bitchin' movie. Yes.
Absolutely.
Love that movie.
Now, she's the older girl, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the intense Tempest problem. She has to play the Tempest and has to fill all the
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
She's got intense eyes when she plays that game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, that joystick was going so crazy.
those
that you're like,
brows.
you're not
Those
okay.
brows.
Yeah. DMK.
Yeah. DMK.
She's like, who the fuck is DMK?
Dude, I totally forgot about that. And then of course we'll talk about it.
Yeah. But then she was also in Weekend at Bernie's. I always forget
Yes,
she's in
there
that
we
movie.
go.
I always forget she's in there. And then when I see it, I'm like, oh, that's Catherine Mary Stewart.
With her, the reason I think she's ageless is because she was like, yeah, Mom, I'm 18 in this movie. And I'm like, dude, you look 27.
Yeah. She's like, I'm like 18 and I could do what I want to.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, you look way older than that.
She had a bit part in Nighthawks before this.
Really?
Yeah, she was the sales girl. in
Nighthawks
with Sylvester Stallone and Billy D. Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about watching that one the other day.
Yeah.
Because it's on Netflix or... Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
But then she kind of faded off for a while, raised her family, like she has some kids, and then she's kind of come back recently, and it looks like she does a lot of TV movies and things like that.
She started in on like One Life to Live or a TV show like that.
A lot of the females that are in here, the two younger ones, actually a lot of the actors were in daytime soap operas.
Yeah, Kelly Maroney.
Yeah.
Which she played Samantha, which was the younger sister, right? She was on Chopping Mall. She was on Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, she was Cindy Carr.
Correct. So that was another teen movie. Didn't they film this one at the same kind of mall, the Sherman Oaks Mall, that they did everywhere else?
I would assume, but I don't know that.
Sherman Oaks Mall. Yeah, which I want to go to there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because I think all of them were kind of filmed in the same kind of where it's like a multi-story mall. And I love that character that's in there,
Right.
Willie.
What about a theme park, but it has a different style to the theme park where it's themes of different movies, so scene parks.
Oh,
God, that would be bitchin'.
Brilliant.
So you could
Trademark.
go
There you go.
to the
Trademark the
scenes,
Drop Culture podcast.
Drop Culture Podcast.
all the most iconic, and
2020.
like the gas stations, the Clerk's gas station.
That would be
It's
fucking
all black
awesome.
and white
Awesome,
inside.
yeah.
All the things are
You
printed
could
black
take
and white.
old malls and do that.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
They're all right there.
and actually still
What
sell
else
it.
is going on in there? Nothing.
You could go to Brody's comic book shop
Yes.
inside the fucking mall.
That'd be so cool.
You know, you could go get a pretzel, a chocolate covered pretzel.
Yeah.
Maybe go to the new cookie place upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
I mean, and then you could go to like the
Any movie with an iconic place.
Yes,
like
in the
that
mall.
cool thing.
And then every like 4 hours, some dude can like grab something from the ceiling and swing down like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Commando.
You could have the Commando one. You could have the Jay and Silent Bob one where they shoot the grappling hook up. You know, just have that going on every now and again, like time throughout the park
and then
mall area.
And then every week, or once a week, every year they have the Dawn of the Dead.
Boom.
Yes. And there you go.
You gotta run through the whole place.
And you got to go through it. And
a zombie
gotta,
chase.
Yeah, you got to like hang out and like go upstairs and go into the rooms, and they have shit like that where you could stay.
You could do it like a zombie run, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
A little far-fetched for this next idea, but...
Let's buy a mall.
Yeah,
okay, go.
like have a whole other mall, like the size of a mall.
Let's buy 2 malls. Okay.
And put them together. Like have one
Burlington
whole mall
co-factory.
the size of about a decent sized mall, just dedicated to Lord of the Rings scenes, where you go through the forest and you go through all the different.
You could absolutely do that.
Holy shit.
Oh, so much money.
Yeah.
But, that'd be so cool.
That'd be
Get
awesome.
Weta to like partner with it, and we'll sell their merch. We'll like do whatever merch.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Merchandise.
Well, yeah, that's where you're gonna make. That's where you're gonna make the money.
You could be a pin trader.
Oh yeah, dude, and the publicity that you would get because you don't have to go to New Zealand to have like a Lord of the Rings tour experience.
Yeah,
You could go into the
absolutely.
cave with the big giant ass spider and play golf.
And randomly, some trees would just kind of like shift.
Yes.
That'd be so
Oh
cool.
shit, that would be
That'd be awesome.
fucking great.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn. All right, guys.
Get at us, entrepreneurs.
Wizarding World, get out of the way.
Anybody want to invest? Let us know.
What were we talking about? No,
We were talking about Kelly Maroney.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kelly Maroney. Okay.
She was also, I don't know if you ever saw this movie. It came out in 1986. Zero Boys.
No,
Oh,
I don't believe I have.
well, it's a peach and she's in that. Basically, take a theme, put it together with horror, and this is what you got. And these are a bunch of paintball guys that like get thrown into like a horror movie.
What?
Yes.
Paintball?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's not good. It's
No,
not
okay.
good.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
not
like-
saying you should watch it, but I remember
all right.
I remember watching it back
I
in the
don't know.
day, and I'm like, oh wow.
Ooh, this is fucked up. Yes. Steelers win.
News live now.
Okay.
Because football's going on.
It still is. The Super Bowl is coming up.
Next year, coming to you live.
Coming to you live. Okay, so Sharon Farrell, she plays Doris, and actually her son was in the movie too. Her son was one of the little boys at the very end of it, with the braces and shit like that. Right. Oh, hey, there's no such thing as Santa Claus. Shut up. She was on some pretty cool movies too, like Can't Buy Me Love,
Yeah.
Lone Wolf McQuade, so
Tying it
connection
together there, yeah.
and then she was also on It's Alive. So
Yes.
there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of cross pollination in this horror movie / sci-fi adventure / 50s. At this time, they had been doing a lot of those 50s throwback movies like
Right.
that, like Invaders from Mars, which was pretty fucking bitchin' too. I like that one better than the old school one. I like the graphics in the old one versus the new one, but it's still fucking, those movies like that they were redoing were pretty fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
And I say fuck a lot.
That's okay.
And then we got Mary Warnoff.
Okay, let's get into this.
She
because-
played Audrey White or something like that,
Yes,
right?
that is correct.
So Death Race 2000,
Yep.
Eating Raoul, Terror Vision, Rock and Roll High School,
Yep.
and you know where she started?
That's where I was getting ready to go to.
Go for it.
So she actually started out with Andy Warhol
Mm-hmm.
back in I guess that would be the 60s.
In the Factory.
In the Factory, that's right. So she was
The movie The Factory or the
No, no.
factory where she worked?
No, Andy Warhol had a collective of artists that basically had their own building, and that's all they would do is art, make movies, everything like that. So they did all his prints, so he called it The Factory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And she played Hanoi Hannah in Chelsea Girls, which was an experimental underground film by Andy Warhol, and it was the first major commercial success after he had just a bunch of art films that didn't really, they don't really
shit.
do anything. So yeah, she was also a big fan of like the punk scene at that time. So she was in Suicidal Tendencies institutionalized video.
That's right.
Yeah, so she's again, like she's a big cult actress.
Yes.
So I see earlier when you said, well, this isn't going to do anything, because she probably felt it was like a little too bubblegum, I guess, or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she did have they interviewed her years ago, and she basically, at the time, and she said something about it really not being anything that she's really too proud of or even happy with. She's just like, yeah, I did it, like most of the stuff. But I think we originally kind of got on Night of the Comet because I wanted to do the Mary Warnoff trilogy.
Right. Yeah.
So
eating Raoul.
Eating Raoul. I was going to do Chopping Mall.
Yeah. Of course.
And this,
Yeah.
Just because she's in it for that long. But they've always wanted to do...
Same character, though.
Yeah. They always wanted to do like another Eating Raoul movie, like a part 2, but then Paul Bartel passed away before they were getting it off the ground. So, she was pretty awesome in this movie too. Her most of her lines were ad-libbed, right?
Right.
And she's a pretty good actress, And then also now this guy right here, Jeffrey Lewis, he played Dr. Carter. He was on High Plains Drifter, Bronco Billy, Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
If you know who this guy is.
I always think of, and the first role that I always think of when I see this guy?
Tango and Cash?
No. He was the brother of Clint Eastwood in Any Which Way You Can and Every Which Way But Loose, the movie with the orangutan. And for some reason, that's like, I see his face and I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Well, you know who his daughter is, right?
Yes, I saw
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that until 2 years ago.
I didn't know that until doing research for this, honestly.
For real?
Yeah.
It's unusual because I did really... I'm a fan of Juliette Lewis and her music, Juliette Lewis and the Licks or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And of course she's married to the drummer from Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
So yeah, she's out there. She looks like Evel Knievel. But it's really cool because she always posts stuff about her father.
Because he passed recently, right?
Yeah, it was not too long ago. Maybe 10 years, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Been a while. But he was always in those Clint Eastwood movies. Right. So he's a great character actor and he's a great asshole actor. You know what I mean? He could really be he can really be a jerk, and especially in this one, you could just he wasn't really like 100% engaged, but yet he takes these roles on to where he doesn't have to be. Except for Tango and Cash.
Who is this again?
He's the main. He's the head of the scientist.
The main doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, and when we get there, we'll talk about that. Never mind.
Okay.
Because I actually thought when they were first introduced, it was the opposite. I thought it was led to believe that was the opposite, that he was the more kind one and she was the little more.
Yeah.
I digress into something we'll probably talk about later.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just get into the.
Oh wait! No!
Oh, who did I miss? Who did I miss?
You do not leave Larry Dupree off this list, my friend.
Okay.
Because Michael Bowen Jr. he played Tommy, who was like the antagonist in Valley Girl.
Okay.
I should say the rival love interest or whatever. He was Uncle Jack in Breaking Bad. He was also in Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. He was also Danny Pickett in Lost.
Wait.
The show Lost.
Yeah. Okay, which character is this guy?
The boyfriend that dies at the beginning.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's Michael Bowen Jr.
Yes, I always forget about him, and every time I see him, I'm like, oh man,
weird
on everything.
Here's a little weird side note: he is stepbrothers to the Carradine brothers.
Really?
Yeah, through marriage, of course, and stepbrothers.
Yeah. But I'm Buck, and I'm here to fuck.
But anyway, so I wanted to make sure we got that out.
Yes. I'm sorry, I missed that one.
And then, real quick, one of the guys, and he's just in it for a little bit. He is one of the zombies, not zombies, whatever they are, but really the guys in the mall that are running the deal.
Yeah. It wasn't Willie, was it?
It's Dick Rude. He plays one of the stock boys, actually. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And he directed music videos for like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Really?
He did the documentary Let's Rock Again about Joe Strummer and his last tour.
Nice.
Yeah. With that was like 2004, the Mescalero. What is this band?
Mescaleros.
Mescaleros, thank you.
Joe Strummer, Mescaleros.
So he did that Let's Rock Again documentary.
Which one was he? Which stock boy?
What the fuck, dude? What do I know? I don't know what this guy looked like when he was young. I'm just saying that he was in there, and that's pretty cool because that Let's Rock Again documentary is pretty cool. I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I'm trying to see if I can find a picture. Oh, he was on Repo Man.
Anyways,
he was on Sid and Nancy too. Jesus.
Yeah.
This dude was on a lot of shit.
Anyway, so cool stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get into any of that, but
Oh, I know which one he was. Yep, he was. Okay, I know who he is.
Yeah.
He was one of the dudes. He had the shotgun, I think. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
him.
so.
Because he was what's his name's friend, fucking Emilio Estevez's friend, the punk rock friend.
Yeah,
that was always robbing shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that was him. Okay,
anyway,
I got it.
So
yeah.
I thought that we could definitely not leave Michael Bowen off there because that's he was in a lot of cool stuff that blends well with this, and then of course Dick Rude just being more of a film director at this point,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I didn't even. You saw where I stopped.
No worries. That's why there's more than one of us.
All right,
that's so we can each pick up the dropped culture.
The piece of it.
Add it to the mass. Anyways.
I digress.
Actually.
Let's get into the meat of the story. Okay, so as you know, a comet is passing by Earth for the first time in 65 million years.
Boom.
And they're having a badass party outside because Americans love to drink and fucking hang out in the streets,
Just like before the flood.
Especially in the 80s.
As Americans do.
It's like, fucking... I like the
give me a holiday where I can go out and get drunk in the streets.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like
Cinco de Mayo. That's not even our country, but let's celebrate.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Who the hell's not Irish?
Exactly.
Everybody's Irish for one day. I like the newscast where he's like, the first reports are coming in from Newfoundland.
Or Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
or Newfoundland.
Yeah,
But Reggie's, you could already tell she's a pretty cool chick, right?
Yeah.
She's playing Tempest.
Killing it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But there's a movie going on, and it's like a late night feature. What I like in the background of that one, you can see a dude trying to put up a Comet poster, but it just won't go. Yeah. He like walks away and shit while home dude's trying to sell the fucking.
Wait,
the
and
ears.
stop right there for a minute, because that guy trying to sell the ball, the springy ball thing ears.
$9.50.
Yeah, there's like some negotiation going on here, and I'm like, what theater have you been to where that's an option?
Well, back then, why not?
That's
right?
true. That's true. They're probably all locally owned.
Yeah. You're eating into the profits.
But for the time, $9.50?
No, that was a $10 fucking set of wiggly ears.
Even nowadays, it would be $3 at Walmart.
Yeah,
or $2.
I like how he's like blow on.
Yeah, but there was no Walmart back then.
Well, I mean, like
there was no mass distribution from China to one place.
No, true.
So
they were making it by hand, maybe all that.
Yeah. They're making it by hand for $1.50 and selling it for $9.50 because it's the one night the Comet's ever going to come by.
He showed the chick next to it. She's like, she's wearing the one that are $7. These right here. But look, blow on them.
As soon as you blow on it, and he's like, "See that? You want those?" You're like,
$9.50.
He is selling it. Yeah, he is working hard.
$9.50 the whole fucking time. And yeah, the dude's like, "Oh, okay, I guess so." It probably costs 50 cents for a Coke. You know what I mean? He's like, "Well, give me a Coke too."
That's how they make their money.
But it's at the El Rey Theater too, so it's a very famous theater in Los Angeles. Yeah, Los Angeles. And she's 18, Catherine Mary Stewart. So we get introduced to her, and she's pissed off because DMK's beat her fucking record.
Didn't beat her record. Got 6th place out of the top 10, where she has all the other ones.
Right.
So she just
not
had to
first place.
Yeah.
That, you'd be real pissed, right?
Yeah.
You're in 6th place. I got
she's a 18-year-old that's got a job at a movie theater, so she's working. Right?
Okay, I'm sorry though. She does eventually, and this is not spoilers or anything. She does eventually beat it. The thing that triggers me is that it doesn't knock DMK down one.
Right.
It just erases his entry altogether.
It. She knows the score.
It doesn't work like that.
That's not how that works. Yeah.
She got the exact score.
It wouldn't matter. It would just push his down and knock one of hers off.
That's right.
Yeah, she'd have to get like
she'd have to win like all the games.
Yeah, she'd have to get all of them in a row. Maybe she did.
She might have. We did maybe a little time lapse.
She was eating Twizzlers after a night of sex.
Fair.
In the projection room.
Yes. It's what was it, stainless steel or steel or something?
Oh no, not aluminum, not steel.
It was steel.
Yeah,
it was steel.
Yeah, because they have a conversation when they're about to perform coitus.
Yeah.
About how Superman couldn't see through this because it has steel walls, and she's like, no, that's lead.
Yeah.
And he's anyways.
Yeah, well, they had
he
to
could see right through this, and
yeah.
Isn't steel made out of lead though?
Mm.
It's that part of the alloy. for steel?
I think so.
I thought so too.
This is not the Steel podcast.
This is not science. I'm sorry.
Welcome
Moving on.
to the Steel
Anyways, but you're
Pod.
right. They had to set a precedence on that the building was steel, or
Yes.
that room rather was steel.
You know why those rooms are made like that for projection booths, right?
Fire protection.
Yes,
I know.
Correct. Yeah, because the old nitrate films would always explode.
Yeah.
And then of course we all know that from fucking what is that movie?
Inglourious Basterds.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right. So yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. He's like, let me put the phone down. What is that? $100? And the dude's like, oh, 110. Okay.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. What? He went up $10.
Yeah, but 1986, $10, maybe. You're going to bring this back to me at 6. Cool,
Yeah.
sure.
He's like,
Are you gonna get
$110.
zapped
okay,
and
let's do it
evaporated?
106.
I
All
could have
right.
bought a Nintendo the next year for that price.
Oh shit! Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right. Nintendo 62.
It would have been it would have been the Nintendo the original.
Yeah, Nintendo 16.
I was just gonna
Or
say-
was it that year? It was 86, right?
If they called
87?
it Nintendo
84.
62, that would be
For the
foreshadowing
Nintendo?
like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think Nintendo came out in 85, 86
Yeah.
in America.
86, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I got it for Christmas. didn't
I
even
bought
know
it because I was a paper boy.
I didn't even know what the fuck it was. It was cool.
I never wanted it at that time.
My
Because you
mom,
weren't born yet.
my mom let me.
I don't even have kids.
My mom let me order it out of some Finger Hut catalog.
Damn, so you paid like 40% interest?
I don't know. I just paid whatever the real price was, and I just paid that money to her every week out of my
Nice.
paper boy
Nice.
money.
That's pretty bitchin'. Did you get the Nintendo Entertainment set with the gun and the
I had the gun
controllers?
and Rob the video robot.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yes.
I'm so jealous.
How do you
okay.
get so lucky?
He sat on my hey, I worked for that shit.
Robbie the Robot was
worked
awesome.
hard for your money.
Those games were fucking terrible.
Yeah, I know. Gyromite.
Yeah. Stackers.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh.
Just give me a good marble blast.
That's 60% of the games that are out there for that. You know,
I know, there's like
66%.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's
Anyways,
working.
back to this movie.
Back to the movie.
Where she does play video games tie into her other movie of this year, The Last Starfighter.
Last Starfighter. Yeah. So
Video games were the thing in 1984.
84. Yeah.
Arcades were a big deal.
But that was only like the only video game in the whole place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
They,
you're right.
Even
they
some dude-
highlighted that one.
Yeah.
for
Even
sure.
some dude walks up to her and is like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" She's like, "I'm busy."
Hey, that's your
Don't you even work here?
I'm going to report this to your manager. I am the manager. No, that didn't happen.
I like the interaction that she has because she's just a valley girl. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And then she goes upstairs because he's like,
Take
"What is
this flashlight.
Yeah, walk
and
the
walk
house.
the house.
Just walk away.
Just walk." The
And then he
house."
does ask him to go talk to
the projection.
Dupree. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, maybe he'll stop
he's
to.
gonna-
What is it?
He goes, he's doing the same thing to her that he's doing to me.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird line, and he's like letting it go.
Yeah, he's
you know
just
what I
like,
mean?
yeah,
Whatever.
they're fucking, and he's fucking
Yeah.
me.
And of course, he's 40 years old at that point too. He looks like it, right? And the other dude's like 45.
Oh, my God.
That's the age difference, you know. But then, yeah, they get into that little bitty talk at that point, and then they go to the house where she's calling because she wants to stay the night. She's getting accused of, she's like, "I'll give you $15," and he's like, "You know what that makes me if we make it in here?"
Yeah, because he's going to
$15 richer?
basically take one of their films,
A 3D print.
original 3D print, and let them use it for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why she ends up staying.
and they're going to stay the night together and get it on in the projection room.
On cement floor, no less. No
They got
pillows.
sleeping bags.
Well, yeah, they had 2 of them put together.
Yeah,
And still-
as one does.
Yeah.
And they're sleeping
That would
together
fucking
in the
suck.
projection room.
I think
of
about
a
that now
theater.
that I'm older. I'm like, man, it would suck to sleep on the floor.
I don't know.
See,
I slept.
ugh.
I feel like when I was younger, I slept wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Dude, when you get older, though, good couch, good bed. Makes a world of a difference.
Nothing like a nice bed. Let me tell you. So,
Back in my day.
so then we get introduced to her little sister,
Yes.
and her
Sam.
yeah, her stepmom is having a big block party out in Encino Hills or some shit like that. Or wherever the poltergeist took place, because it looks like the same neighborhood.
It does kind
you
of.
know what I
yeah,
mean?
Absolutely.
And so it's really nice. And she's like, they get into a fight. She slaps the shit out of her too, and like
And then
really
she
literally
punches her.
Yeah, no, yeah, like grabs her by the collar, and like
Just wham.
Like
so she
the mom
slaps her.
the daughter,
But
the
it's not the
daughter
mom,
then turns
though. It's the
around,
stepmom.
or stepmom
Yeah.
slaps the daughter. The daughter then turns around, slaps the mom, and then the mom looks in shock, and then just full on decks her in the face,
Like grabs her by the collar. Though.
Yeah, just whack.
And nobody in the room was like,
Nobody-
hey,
yeah.
stop.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
1984. There's no such thing
Like,
as
beat your kids.
child abuse.
Yeah.
Come on.
She's a teenager. Shit.
That's called raising kids, raising them the right way.
Yeah, 1984 style.
That's right.
But yeah,
Don't you love this Porsche?
so you have that little interaction right there. So you're kind of telling the story, and that's when she has the Banana Land. If your daddy comes back from Banana Land, you know
What we've got here is a
solidifies.
chain of command.
Yeah.
yeah,
This solidifies the Valley Girl aspect too, because the mom is like sleeping with the guy.
Yeah.
The dad is
Yeah.
obviously like always away doing something.
He's fighting wars.
What was
Fighting
Kelly
wars.
Maroney's line about? Something about you don't need to do that or something. It was so funny the way she said it too about her ex or the guy that she's like stooping.
Yeah.
Stupid.
She's sleeping around a little bit. The old mama is.
Well, I mean that kind of
Stepmama.
that does your good setup.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You set up
everything's
the family pretty quickly
Yeah.
that way with a right cross.
Oh shit! And then, yeah, they literally like I don't know. You start seeing the comet pass over, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's itchy."
And like they almost look
Dude.
like they have a headache too, you know?
Who sees this sky and goes, dude, this is totally worth celebrating. Yeah. Because like you see that and I'd be like, fuck.
Not those scientists.
Yeah, exactly. Those scientists were on it. But like everybody else's, that made no sense to me.
When we get to there, I got a question for that too.
Okay.
So yeah. So I mean, honestly, it was like it was a nice setup for it. Then you wake up the next day and she's waking up. Reggie's waking up and he's like, "I've been waiting beside that door for fucking since 6:30 in the morning. That pinhead hasn't brought it back." Right?
Pinhead.
Yeah. There's
Larry
a little.
Dupree.
Yeah, there's a little foreshadowing too because he goes down, right? I guess down the stairs, and on the wall there's the poster for the red dust.
Yes.
He's like, "Is that you?" And you know, of course, she's there. She's gonna let him back in whenever he gets back, because I guess the movie theater doesn't open till 10
Right.
sometime, right? She's gonna go home,
It's true.
and
She got her clothes with her. She'd be fine.
yeah. But then he hears the shit on the outside.
Right.
Did the light dim?
Yeah, it felt like
Is that me? No, it's probably outside. So then he like whacks him. That dude looks fucking wicked too. That's a good, good makeup, subtle makeup. You know, so it's not overdone.
Right.
Which I like the effects in this movie as far as like the makeup effects. They look really good. I mean, I guess that dude slept in between a couple of trash cans or some shit.
Yeah,
or
that's
slept
what
in
it
a
looked
trash
like.
can?
Maybe he
don't
slept
know.
in the trash can, and that's why that's not a steel top. Well, maybe they were back then in the 84.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah,
I don't
now
know.
they're all plastic. Most dumpsters are.
I don't know.
But-
I don't know the rules about dumpsters. I don't know where that guy was sleeping because they don't explain it.
Yeah, they don't explain it, but yeah,
I don't know who that guy was before this.
I need answers.
Yeah,
But what we find out pretty quick is that, like, he's a zombie, air quotes,
yeah.
but he's like using a wrench. You know what I mean? Like these aren't your normal zombies, and we're going to see that a little bit more when he interacts down the road.
Yeah, you kind of see a different degree for every person, how their level of exposure to the comet.
Mm-hmm.
But you quickly put together, you know, after she goes, okay, so she comes out, she gets locked out, she goes into the back.
As she comes out, you see a poster for Death Race 2000 on the
Yeah,
on the
for
back
Mary
of the door.
Warner.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Death Wraith.
And then, yeah, no, that was when she goes around the side, she's like, fuck, I'm locked the fuck out. She's got her shoes on, whatever those things that she's got on her feet, boots,
Those
boot
weird
shoes or puffy boots. And then she hears some rustling and the dude pops out with a fucking half of a rib sandwich.
Something.
Whatever
yeah.
the fuck he's eating. And you assume that it's fucking home dude.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
And he's like, come here. I love his voice. Yeah. He's like, come here.
Get over here.
But
Yeah, that was good.
On that part, she throws away the keys. Like she doesn't put them in her pocket.
so
or something like that.
that's I do have a question about that too, because first of all, this girl has been trained by her father, obviously.
She even says it to the kid.
yeah.
She's like, I've been taught
Trained.
to handle myself.
Hey,
Exactly.
don't fuck with me. I can kill you, bro.
Why would you, in that situation, throw the keys rather than use them as a weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Maybe they didn't do that in the 80s.
She was
Maybe
like,
they didn't.
I've killed many people that way. It gets messy. I like these clothes.
Yeah.
She already got the blood on her hand from the wrench when she picked it up.
Yeah,
And she was
like,
disgusted.
I thought she was going to wipe out her pants, and I was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she gets away and she's driving around L.A.
She's riding the motorcycle.
Yeah. And
some of the longest scenes of her face riding a motorcycle for pretend ever.
Yeah.
Awesome
She's just looking
ones.
around
Yeah,
and
they
shit. And
were.
it's just a
beautiful
up angle.
Kanye West music video.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was pretty awesome to see because they tinted the background to where it's completely red. So you know that there's something up, and she's parked by the Mercedes and she looks in there and the fucking radio's going. So somebody died right there. But where are all the other cars?
So I have a question about this because I don't know what it was really like to make movies back in 1984. You know.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
Yeah. Well, so would it be easier to film this at night and then set your red background? And
I don't
brighten
think
up
so.
everything back then. I don't know what
Yeah.
the technology was, so that's just a question because I
Like
don't
more
know.
infrared
I
almost.
don't think so because
know.
most of the night stuff that was filmed at the very beginning of films was filmed during the day, and then they just
Yeah,
tinted
that's
it
what
down.
I remember that.
So tinting it up, probably.
I just
not.
didn't know if the 80s
Yeah.
were a time when you could do something like that to get like
color corrections
Yeah,
and things like that.
yeah.
I think it was much easier to do the color correct because if you look really tight on it, you can see that everything is a tinged kind of a red.
Yeah,
except
100%.
for the close-ups of them or where they're
That's because they're
inside.
doing that somewhere else and right
Correct,
on their
yeah.
face. Yeah.
So they're just kind of color correcting the film to make it look red.
Tin's eyebrows.
Yeah. She's like, where is everybody? They must have had great parking in Sherman Oaks, California, because there's no cars anywhere.
Yeah.
Except for there's like 5 or 6 cars. There's one parked right there.
Right.
I mean, the fucking streets would have been packed if this was LA. Not everybody would have been at home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
And-
if they were, I would assume that there would be more parked in places where there were these parties going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There'd be centralized locations. Yeah.
You should go by and see a whole bunch of cars at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And more than just like
But I
3
do
sweaters.
like she pulls up next to that one car and it's like on.
Yeah.
And the lights are on. It's playing music.
Yeah.
that
It's
was
playing
pretty
Christmas
cool.
music.
Yeah, of course it is because it's almost Christmas.
Yeah, then she ends up going home, and when she gets there, that's when we see Kelly Maroney because she scares the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And she says that she runs away. So, okay, clue number 2, how you survive the comet is you surround yourself in steel, because she said she spent the night in a shed,
Yes.
like a
Some sort of a
gardening shed or
yeah.
something like that. So that's how she got saved.
What about the windows?
But
They
you-
gotta be cracked like a vent.
No. In the
It could be a non-window.
that's right.
shed,
That's
I
right.
mean.
because they left the vents open at the Dharma Initiative.
Yeah, we'll find
place.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and but a shed like that probably would have some openings to it. It's very
Some
thin
opening.
walls.
Yeah.
There had to be something.
Who knows?
Who knows, right?
I mean, it's
So-
not that detailed of a
No,
movie.
no.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not gonna bust too hard on the science of this movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
It doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. But she's like, there's nobody. She's like, whatever. And she's eating Total and shit. You know what I mean?
She's wearing that cheerleader outfit
Yeah, I
with
know,
like
right?
the ugliest colors ever in the world.
Yeah, she's like part of the pep squad or the
Yeah.
cheerleader. They were supposed to have practice in the morning, and she's like, oh, well,
Can't get a hold of anybody.
yeah, nobody's answering. And like, she doesn't fucking notice because she's listening to fucking too much music, too loud all the time, right? It's like, they're not even here.
Where's the kids? It's Saturday morning
Yeah.
in 1984.
This is Doran. And
Like
here's Chuck.
Like today, if you like walked out in your cul-de-sac
Yes.
and there were no kids playing outside on a Saturday morning, you'd be like, yeah, they're all fucking inside playing video games and
it's
talking on their
Saturday.
phones
Yeah.
and Snapchatting with their friends.
Mind you, like you said, this was before NES. So,
Yes,
hey,
absolutely.
They weren't rescuing aliens like ET and shit.
Oh. No, they probably were on their Atari 2600.
Oh,
If you were trying to scare me, it is working.
that is a pretty good line in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they freak out, but they have a very good. They do act like sisters.
Chemistry.
And that's
They
a
do.
very good
They
part
do.
of this movie is they do a good job interacting together, acting like they're siblings. It's just really cool. They have that sibling rivalry and they actually work pretty good. And they had such a small budget that they had to do everything like once, so they really had to practice and
Yeah.
kind of get into that, but it was natural for them, which was
Yeah.
really cool. So yeah, then they, They go to the radio station.
Yes, they do. And I have never seen a radio station that looks anything like this in my life.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like, here's some wavy couch and some lights and an LCD.
It's like a lights out golf.
Before there was LCD.
Neon dog with a wagon tail. This is awesome.
And their DJ booth is like open air.
Just like completely open.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Never would happen.
No.
Right?
Yeah, it's like you walk in, you're like, hey, I need to talk to the DJ. They're like, he's right back there, but hold on, he's on the air.
Yeah.
And on air, you hear all of that happening in the background. And
Yes,
you're like,
exactly.
what the fuck?
100%.
Turn off the mic.
God, shut up.
Yeah,
guys.
but then Chakotay's waiting behind everything, right? He's got his little
pea shooter.
Saturday night special.
Yes.
And he kind of getting to the light, so he's already knows something's up. And then he kind of alludes to that too, because he tells his little story.
Yeah.
You know, I picked up this girl in fucking San Diego or some shit like that.
Yeah.
No,
on his way to San
to
Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah.
He's on his way to my turf.
Yeah. And and he's got to be at least 32, right?
Something.
I mean, he's a little older. I mean,
Probably.
if he's
don't know.
25, he might be a little bit older than Reggie, but she's 18.
Yeah.
Still kind of fucked up. Okay. So he's a little bit older.
Last man on earth at this point.
Right. Yeah. And then
Last man on earth.
Yeah. So then
Rock the cradle of love.
Yeah, who would do that?
nobody in here. You son of a bitch, Brock. so I mean, they're kind of, again, the chemistry with that principal part of the cast is pretty good too.
Yes.
Actually, really neat. And then,
I love the gloves that he's wearing for no fucking reason.
well, they're driving gloves. He's a trucker.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here.
But
they were like work gloves, dude.
Did he pull up in a Porsche?
Yeah.
Where's his truck at too?
Oh, yeah.
You don't see it.
Yeah,
Because,
you do. You do when he gets to San Diego.
Oh yeah, at that point,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like right then, because they
No,
pulled up
not
to the
right
radio
then, you
station.
know, yeah.
The radio station's doors were unlocked.
He hit it,
I guess, right?
as one does.
Yeah,
For how secure that radio station area was.
it was completely open
Yeah.
and playing a tape. You know, I mean, and this is what I often think about. Like, if the world ends, you know, who's going to take care of the nuclear power plants? You know, who's going to take care of that shit like there? Because it's going to fucking fail eventually.
point, yeah.
And you got to think where you're going to plant yourself for the next, you know, until you die in an apocalypse. Where are you going to be to where the nuclear power plants aren't going to explode and fucking kill you first?
Whether they explode or not, what you really would worry about, I think, more is if they would leak,
yeah.
Under
But
the
the-
sea.
but
like
then-
Fukushima style.
Yeah, but then think too, if those are going
the
off
worst
all
placed
over,
nuclear reactor ever, by the way.
Yeah, if those are going off all over the world, that's getting
Yeah.
into the atmosphere. You're fucked.
Oh,
anyway.
100%, 100%.
You
You'd
turn
have
into
to.
a mutant.
You would have to go to the Fortress of Solitude.
Yes, you would. But there is no Antarctica anymore.
It's true.
There's only like a couple of ice cubes up there.
So it's very
or
obvious
down there,
where the
depending on where you're at.
Yeah. It's all gone. Okay, so
Wow.
yeah, digression. Yes,
Anyways,
yes, please.
so yeah, it's just a tape playing. There's no DJ.
Yeah,
It's
because they get startled by it. They're like, "Oh, it's just on tape." Oh, okay, cool. And
I
then
don't know how deep
Heck
we-
Gomez. That's what his name is. Heck Gomez.
Gomez.
Yeah. So Heck Gomez comes out and he's
Related
like,
to Selena.
Hector.
yeah, and then
I
she
love it when she says that.
Hector.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
lady.
I know.
Wow, Valley girl.
Yeah.
You get them.
Well, what's really cool about that too is Samantha gets on the air and then she starts doing the DJ deal.
Yeah.
And then that's where she's got the Valley Girl soundtrack. And then that's where, you know, she's throwing records. She's like, no more school.
Right.
And then she's like, we've lowered the drinking age to
10.
10. You gotta have an ID though. We're not savages.
And doesn't she like say something about being one of the three?
Yeah. 3 owners of the greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
This is Samantha.
She adapted super quick to this situation.
Every
I think
one of them
she's
did.
actually thought about this. So that's what I think this
Well,
is
I think that they
preemptive.
live in an environment where they hate the person that's
Yeah.
like running their life.
Yeah.
You know, teenagers,
Teenagers.
obviously. Well, and their dad's never there.
Mm-hmm.
So
They could do what they want to.
yeah.
I'm
God,
gonna
those
rebel.
clouds.
I'm gonna rebel.
You're gonna rebel.
I'm gonna rebel.
I'm gonna rebel right on out of here, mister.
I'm gonna rebel Wilson the shit.
Whoa.
Whoa! I never meant it to go that far. I'm so sorry.
But
Rebel. Oh my god.
yeah. So after this, basically, she has a dream, because we know that there's that, we get introduced, and this is where it's weird to me because you know that symbol that they use for their deal? I think that's the Dharma Initiative symbol from
Really?
Lost. It looks just like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's the Dharma Initiative. That's what I call them.
Right.
And ever since I noticed that, I was like, oh, it's the Dharma Initiative. You know, so they show them in their underground base, and that's where you first get to see that one, where they have the big tower in the middle of fucking cubicles.
Yeah.
Cubicles with like fucking weird shit in them. So you get introduced to the baddies, right? Are they the baddies? I don't know. You know what I mean? So they apparently tell them that, you know, they're a group of think tank or a think tank worth of scientists that were
Outside of the city.
Yeah, they don't know where, and you can hear them on the radio. Just fucking, do you remember anything, stupid?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know.
And then we transition to where the scientists are.
Yeah, and you get to meet Mary Warnoff, and then you get to meet the doctor, and then all the fucking nerds. The guys are like, He always puts his hand on his chin. He's like, logically, we should actually. It's like, fucking nerd.
That's the
so
signs.
that guy's been around forever.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
No, that's the signs of like you know something and you're very smart.
Logically,
if you sit here and go yes, and just rub your chin.
Logically, I should think that my gun should be. It's like, dude, what do you got a fucking gun for?
Yeah, and why are you
know?
using it to scratch your beard?
Yeah.
That's not smart.
And I think this is the part where at first I thought Dr. Carter, the leader guy, Jeffrey Lewis, I thought that he was like the good guy. Because he's like, yeah, we got to go try to save him.
Yeah.
And Audrey, Warnoff, is like, no, why are we doing that? That's stupid.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I feel like.
Well, you don't know the extra piece that comes around.
Right. So I thought that was a cool setup that I, you know, and again, it had been a long time since I've seen this movie, like, didn't remember that portion. And so a first time watching even would be, oh, well, it's opposite day.
The roles are kind of flipped a little
exactly.
bit. Yeah.
Just because you don't know the right perspective yet.
Right.
You know, you don't have all the information.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, actually, in the directing of it.
Yeah. No,
Writing.
it was really good for the illusion for it.
Yes.
Then we get to go back to the radio station, and Samantha's sleeping, or at least we think she's sleeping.
Well,
But then
we find out she's sleeping.
Yeah, we have. I mean, these are really two really
$15.
cool. Yeah, two really cool, like fucking. I don't know, dream sequences.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's the classic, you know, one dream leads into another, and you're like, oh,
and then another dream.
I got again. But you know, I like the cops in this because they pull her over, and she's just like, okay, I'm gonna pull over. It's fucking cops,
And
right?
she's like just talking to herself, having a great time, and you see her in the car, and you think like, that's probably what I would do. Yeah. Okay.
You'd be drinking Coors and fucking driving a Porsche, same color.
For me personally, they did so good at representing a dream because like it sounds stupid, but like if you think about it, in your dream, you're doing things without thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, last second, they're like already walking up and she's like, I have a beer can in my hand. What the fuck?
And then like sprays her banaka.
And that is such, you know, but that is such a dream actual thing.
Absolutely.
Because in your dream, you're like, wait,
Now,
what the fuck?
suddenly I have to react to all this. Sure.
I never really looked at it that way, but you're completely 100% correct.
Right.
Looking at it like that, because it seems far-fetched, but at the same time, it seems natural.
Well, at first you're going, she's stupid. What is she doing? Put the beer away. And then all of a sudden you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, it was a dream. Oh.
Yeah. Well, they come out and then she's like, how's it going, officers? And they're like, hey, come here.
And this is like, so realistically, this is the second time we've seen any of these people, zombies, and they're not even in this reality.
No, correct. Like
because this is a dream that she's had.
she never saw the other ones.
Right.
Because they had talked a little bit about it.
Right.
You know, how the like Heck Gomez was talking about how the thing was eating a cat or some shit.
And then
you know,
her,
and
20
then her,
20
yeah.
minutes later.
20 minutes later,
And then
her.
Larry.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm sure her sister iterated after that fact because that's when she went to go throw up.
Yeah, she went to go throw up. She's like, Larry.
And I think that's later on, like, it's where they split up
That was a dude's Big Mac.
Texas and Florida and Hawaii. And
Yeah,
she's like, I want Hawaii.
Well, yeah, because she has the other part of the dream where she's like taking a bath, right?
Yeah.
In the fucking sink.
Yeah,
of
back
course.
to present. I was
and then but then it hits that point too.
Okay.
Right after that, after she screams and he's like, "Do you got her? Do you have her?" You know, he's like being a dick.
What is this, Nick Cage?
Yeah. No, do you have her? But
I don't know why I love that.
but for some reason, like, he's a dick, and then she goes in there to talk to him, and then she sits down, and then she's like, "Well, I'll give you a Texas." He's like, "Okay,"
in Florida, and then it ends up with he wants Hawaii too.
Yeah, so go in Hawaii and call yourself a D.
She's like, "I want Hawaii."
Yeah, Kelly Maroney's like, "You fucking bitch."
Take it all well, and then we get that line a little later.
I want to fucking punch you.
Punch you right in the deep throat.
Yeah, she's just fucking mad. And then, because old Heck Gomez has got to go to San Diego because he's got to check on his mom.
Got to check
his
on
other
mama.
people, you know. Because what room are they in, too? Is that another, like, fucking disco room?
Just another room that
cool.
you get in this awesome studio.
Neon lights and shit.
If we
ever build our own studio for the Drop Culture podcast, we should model it just like that.
I don't think I could handle that every day of my life.
Dark and like
I'm down with it. Is that EDM? No, it has a soul.
Yes. Bum, bum, bum.
We need our soundboard.
Wait for that drop.
Yeah. So don't they go back to the scientists, the Dharma Initiative, and that's whenever they're bringing the kids over.
Yes,
kind of at that point,
the younger kids,
and then they're talking about going to get the girls, you know, because they hear them, right? And then of course you see Mary Warnoff getting all fucking pissed because they got kids, you know,
right?
Dude in his fucking jammies and a little girl in her fucking nightgown and shit,
right?
He's carrying a football. I mean,
yeah, he's carrying a football and she's got like a bunny or a bear or something.
They're like, grab one thing, guys, and you can come with us. And he's like, oh, take my football.
Well, that football comes in handy later, so you know.
Yeah. So does her, her little teddy bear or whatnot.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And then, you see Mary Warnoff get a little pissed. So she's just like, fuck you, you know, and you can kind of see what she's mouthing.
Right.
It's like, this is fucking, because I think she leans over and she's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where I feel like they mouthed the word fuck in this.
Yeah.
There's a couple times.
But it's really cool that they didn't
say it.
They didn't have to.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. You see her mouth it because the helicopter's too loud.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I just thought they said it. Like I didn't even realize. It's kind of funny.
And then, so, I don't know. So
pretty much now, isn't it just when they're heading to the mall?
No.
Or there's a scene outside?
They supposedly, there's two scenes before that one.
Okay.
So before they do anything, they go, I guess, get guns somewhere.
Yeah.
So I guess they're getting them from the local military armory or some shit like that, right?
Right.
So they have those fucking submachine guns or the little bitty machine guns, Uzis
Mac
or
10s or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Mac 10.
Because she knows how to handle herself. She even makes fun of him by saying, this looks like it's good for date night in the barrio. And he's like, oh, date night in the barrio, bitch. You know? So he's not really liking it. Stereotype, right?
Well, we know they're not Uzis because she makes the line later. She's like, you know, if Daddy was here, he would have got us Uzis.
Totally improvised, by the way, too.
Nice.
She improvised that line because they didn't, and the director told him, you know, if something different happens, just keep going, but do it in character and use it. So whenever she used that line, Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
That was all improvised.
Yeah, improvised. And
That's
they were
really
like,
cool.
Cut, print, good, check the gate.
I would have.
We've only got $54 left. Let's make this thing count.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with this clip.
That's where Hector goes over to his parents. Or his mom's house.
Yes,
And he's like, Mom is awake. But it's Feliz Navidad playing on the fucking...
Right.
Feliz Navidad.
On auto.
Yeah. And it's just like fucking goes back and he walks in. He's
On
like,
the record player.
And, Mom's not here anymore. But there's no red dust in this place. So she must have been out somewhere at the park or something like that, you know?
His little line when the door and the kid...
So I got a gun here.
So I'll give you one chance to leave before I shoot you.
But then he's like, yeah. For real.
Yes.
And then he opens it anyway.
Yeah, I know.
He's like,
Shut it. Click.
Yeah. He didn't even lock it though.
I know.
He just shut it.
It hurts.
That's all he had to do was lock it and that little bastard wouldn't have got it.
I don't know. He busted right through the door, though.
But he busted through the bathroom door, which is a lighter door generally. Right. So the heavy door is on the front.
I think that you're making a lot of assumptions there.
Yeah. You know what? When you make an assumption, you make out of you and an ass out of you and umption.
Umption.
Yes. So
Yes, fucking umption.
Fucking
so
option.
what's crazy about that part too, I think, is he's gathering up like important stuff from his mom's house, like the pictures and
Right.
whatnot. The little boy breaks in, then he throws a fucking birdcage at him and a tree. Kind of makes everything look really cool in the house. You know, he kind of picks up the lights, so you can tell he's really a family oriented person anyway. Yeah, and then he jumps out. He's like, "Fuck this." Jumps out the fucking window and takes off. So he left his truck. He didn't get back into that because the little boy, I guess, was still in the house. Probably couldn't get out, you know.
Yeah, right.
That would make sense, actually.
Yeah, and the effects on that too. I like
Those
their zombies.
thick doors up front.
Yeah, see, big door up front. See, there's a screen door on the back.
There you go.
Yeah, with a piece of glass.
It's got that weird latch, so we can't figure it out.
So he just goes, grabs the milk, and has some total.
Yeah, as
see
one
him grab
does in
another zombie?
1984.
Yeah, but and what's really cool about this is the progression throughout the day too. You get to see the different progression of the different zombie characters too, and how they're affected. And maybe the little kid was like in a dumpster too. I don't know, and so he was half affected. You know, so he must have been infected just like the homeless dude at the front, but maybe a little bit lighter because he had to drive to San Diego from San Bernardino or some shit like that, right? So it was a little bit of ways away. You know, I don't know how long in miles. But yeah, so that kid was running around
in
the
feet.
neighborhood. Yeah, or inches on a
Or
map.
meters.
Metris. So so then he runs away, and then that's when we go back, and they're sitting in front of the city, and she's they're all kind of flipping out. Kelly Maroney actually has her epiphany that it's the end of the fucking world, you know. My friend was talking about missing date night or some shit like that, and I really like that boy from Taft. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you know what?
Even though he's from Taft.
Yeah, even though he's from Taft. But what's funny is, isn't Taft Taft High is like the bad high school in Fast Times?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, Taft High.
I think
So-
that's the 80s bad school.
Yeah, and she was a cheerleader in that, so it was really cool.
There you go.
She's a bad girl.
Yeah, so they decided to go shopping and dance. You know,
As one does.
yeah, why not? I mean, honestly, if it was the end of the world and you could go do anything, what would you do? For one, you'd shit with the door open
Well,
on the 15th floor.
I think for me, the first thing would be like, okay, what vehicle makes the most sense? Gonna go pick that out first.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, you would go get.
Depends on what
guns
kind of
and-
apocalypse I'm in,
Yeah.
you know? So if I'm in LA, who knows? You know, I'm probably not going to get the.
a Volkswagen thing.
I don't know if that's the correct thing to go with at all.
A Tesla.
yeah,
Tesla.
yeah. It's a Teshera.
A Tesla.
But they have guns, and then they go shopping because they need
In
to get out of the
1984,
clothes.
you weren't getting a Tesla. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well,
You could dream. No, I don't know. That's a tough one because that's putting cars way back where they weren't very efficient.
yeah,
Exactly.
you'd get a 1983 Chevy Caprice or some shit like that.
I'm just going to get a Roadrunner.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, you can find a classic car.
If it's going to chug gas, I might as well be cool.
Yeah. Old
84
Gomez,
Camaro.
Ooh. I would be looking for Knight Rider's car.
There you go.
Yeah. And Michael Knight.
Try to find me an old Duke Boy Challenger.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't many back then. Still isn't now.
They're all destroyed.
Yes.
I'd probably honestly have a truck
Yeah.
because then I could put stuff in the back of it and take it to wherever this battle station that I'm building
And there's a lot of
with all the cool shit that's free.
yeah, the Quiet Earth, the dude did that on
Yeah.
that because it was that New Zealand weird phasing time movie, and he had a truck he put everything into,
Yeah.
and then what was it?
You have to have a fast car too, though.
Yeah, you got to have
Just
something. You know what I
You
mean?
have to have something all terrain.
You set up franchises and
Motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways.
But anyways, they're in a cop car, and they're let's go shopping, and then they fucking hit the department store.
Yeah.
And at the department store, that's when they get into their little, you know, dun, 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 dun.
Dancing around their underwear and
it's like- Cyndi Lauper fucking just jamming that shit. You know what I mean? So they don't check anything out. They just take everything for granted that everybody's gone, even though she's already encountered a fucking zombie before. You know, Catherine Mary Stewart.
and they've encountered a living person
Yeah.
on the first day.
So they like don't search nothing. They don't lock any doors. You know, fuck that,
they're
right?
Valley Girls. What do
Logic,
they care?
yeah. They don't stick around each other. They don't keep their guns with them. Logic.
Yeah.
Are you missing something?
Yeah. But
A brain.
yeah. But that's the funny part too, because this guy coming up, that guy that's the stock boy is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That dude, like, I mean, he put a performance of a lifetime on that shit. I don't know, girls. It's like he's got the fucking, his name is embroidered
Willie,
on his
right?
fucking, yeah, it's Willie.
Willie.
So I don't know what those dudes, the stock boys, were doing, staying working at night in the basement.
He was probably the assistant manager of like the store.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I like how he cut.
Oh, no.
I like how he says something like, yesterday we were stock boys and today we own the whole company. And he's got that really weird,
I'm so sorry.
really weird voice. Today.
He was the overachieving assistant manager.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, he was the manager of the warehouse.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's
Now
following
he's in
him.
charge.
Yeah. But you see the progression of how fast he changes too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the very first part, he's he's watching the cameras and he's talking to him, forget something. You know, she's like, shoes. Where's the gun? And she's like, ugh. And then they have to go in that fucking major battle, you know, at
Where
the
she
shoe
throws
store.
shoes.
Yeah, she
Who
throws
throws a
shoes.
shoe?
Oh, by the way, those shoes were feathers.
Yeah, I know.
Like, obviously made of foam, because when they were hitting the guys, like, if they were shoes with a good sole on it,
Yeah.
they'd hit and pretty, like, good. These were literally like,
Yeah.
and just, like, bounced off
They're
with,
in
like,
the women's shoe department.
It
They're
doesn't
not going to have any
matter.
Doc Martens over there yet.
I mean, like, heels, anything like that were going to be
Yes.
heavy, but these things that they were throwing were, like, literally,
Yeah.
like, bouncing and almost floating down.
Yeah.
It was, like, not that bad, but
Yeah,
they were
the-
super light.
Yeah, and those guys are douchebags too. The ones that
Yeah.
are shooting. That's one of the dudes that's that director guy.
That's the equivalent of
Dick
tapping
Rude.
them on the
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like,
They're
sir,
like,
can you
ow,
turn around,
ow,
sir?
Ow.
Because it wasn't even ow. It was just literally like,
Yeah, she poses as a mannequin.
What
and
was
then
that?
she's like, brrrr.
You knew that scene was coming too,
Yeah.
even the first time you watched it.
Yeah.
Because they kept showing flashes of the mannequins.
Yeah. So she actually interprets herself as a mannequin.
did you see how she reloaded?
No.
She just kind of slaps the bottom of the thing.
I gave her props for making a movie where she reloaded
Yeah, I
multiple
know.
times.
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They were kind of grounded a little bit in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where does she have all the other clips at?
Oh, you don't want to know.
No,
It
it
was in a
said
prison
clips. Clip.
No, in her fanny pack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
They all
okay.
had fanny
Yeah.
packs.
Guys,
I was going to say, you said clip.
I didn't say prison wallet.
Clip.
as in Paul.
Yeah. Well, they get captured, of course, after their dance montage 80s style.
And they're like chained up.
Yeah, which is weird. And he goes through his little deal. But,
Why
you know,
would-
there's a
Why
post-
can't you have a bondage scene in a movie? Come
Right,
on,
right,
that's
right.
what it's supposed to be.
And if you see those posters in the background, if you look at them, it looks like it's an Elvis Costello poster, but it's all about shoplifting.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks
okay.
like Elvis Costello, and he's kind of leaning his glasses down, and the art, you know, that style of the 80s, and it's something about, we'll see you if you steal. So the art director or whoever did the graphic design in that movie was like, put this poster in multiple places. It's fucking awesome.
Right.
Let's do it. So yeah, they're down there, and then those dudes get killed because the scientists have landed so far, and they're like, where would the girls be? And the smart one's like, chin on hand. Maybe
think
they're
I
at the shopping arcade. That's what he calls it too.
Yeah.
It's like a major shopping arcade. What the fuck? Where did this dude come from?
The script.
Yeah.
It came from the script.
Yeah, he's got very weird names for shit.
Tales of the script.
Well, then they go save him. They come out, and you know that's when Heck goes. He ends up being back, right?
Yeah.
So Heck, he goes back to the radio station, but he's dressed as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He's driving
bringing in
that-
the presents.
Yeah, he's driving that 46 Ford or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Big ass
Absolutely.
Ford. Loving it. And he's running across the street and shit like that. And he goes in there, and then
It's Audrey.
there's Mary Warnoff.
Yeah.
And I think she improvised that, or she wrote her own dialogue on that part of it.
Okay.
I think she wrote almost all of her own dialogue in the deal because they've been alluding to her losing her minds. Like she spells memory, MEMERY. And she's like, you know, and then you find out that, you know, when she kind of tells him that they left the fucking shutters open.
Yeah. They
Of
left the
course.
exhaust open.
Yeah, they left the shutters open or the exhaust fans or some shit like that.
And the exhaust fan's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So circulating the air. through
Yeah. The whole
their
time
area.
on the inside. So they're all fucked. Right?
Stupid scientists.
Yeah. They weren't smart enough to hit one button.
Right.
The fucking Larry got fucking fired that night. You know,
she was depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, fucking Dave fucked us on this shit. Where is Dave? He's on fucking patrol now.
You think you have a rough life? What about a group of scientists that thought of everything except for the ducks?
But she does inject herself up because she injects homegirl up.
Right.
You think she kills her.
Right.
You know, and she's like, oh, yeah, it's just fine.
And so, again, at this point, you're still thinking like she's a terrible person, but there's different things starting to happen. You know what I mean? But by the time we get to this point, this is where it all gets explained.
Yeah, heck, she's like, I wrote it all down. I'm sorry about the misspells.
Yeah.
Whoops. And then they actually, she injects herself. She passes away. I'm telling you, Mary Warnock's a good actress.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was a pretty good, convincing scene.
And she's is that the one having trouble remembering how to spell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah. And so she injected herself with whatever she was supposed to inject Kelly Maroney with, you know, as we find out in the future for him. And so basically at this point, we're still... They're up topside. They actually get moved. Homegirls at the mall still fucking with all the shit that they need because Warnoff killed the one dude, the thinking scientist.
Right.
Yeah.
And did we talk about her really going into
The bunker?
Yeah.
Oh no, not yet. I know.
Okay.
I think we missed it.
Yeah, we missed that intro.
Yeah. So back at the bunker. Yeah, they're in there, and that's whenever she's going.
Because she leaves in a helicopter leading her sister.
Yes.
Because her sister needs to be treated because she's already got whatever.
They think she
Red
does.
Death or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so they're going to
But they've also talked about how they want to complete the test in the field. So that way they don't have to bring them back.
Well, that's on the scientist side, but that's what they tell the girls is like, we're going to treat her here and then she'll come along, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
And they question her and he's asking her stupid shit like, do you have diabetes?
What does that have to do with
no.
anything? Oh my God.
But I thought I was pregnant once.
So where's 3 weeks of my life?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, it's irrelevant to you, maybe.
Such value.
That's Jeffrey Lewis doing
Yeah,
that interview,
yeah.
which is awesome.
And he puts on his sunglasses so you can know that they're affected because now you know. So you get to see their degree and how long it's taken.
Absolutely.
So eventually I would think that science-wise, it would affect everybody in the world if the red dust stayed around.
Depends on if there's a genome that...
Or something, yeah.
Something.
Somehow that was affecting everything. So yeah, then you got the kids in the room, right? And they're about to and that's when she does the Santa Claus shit. It's like, as a matter of fact, you'll go to live with Santa Claus forever.
Yeah.
And home
Fucking
dude,
terrifying.
Yeah, home dude leans over, is like, "There's no such thing as Santa." Yeah, and they're like, "Shut up, you little shit."
Like, no joke.
Yeah, I know, right?
Full on attack.
Yeah, but Reggie knocks the dude in the back of the head with the fucking badass like keyboard.
Yeah.
The keyboard from 1984. Those motherfuckers are heavy.
Oh, you ain't lying, brother.
Yeah,
And there's a reason
Yeah.
that thing didn't break.
It's all.
you know?
That's how you tie it. It was fucking loud, man.
It was.
Yeah. I think I still
No.
I think my dad still has some of those.
Oh,
To
no
plug
way.
in with the weird IE
Yeah.
cable
Oh,
or
yeah,
some
yeah.
shit, you know?
Sometimes curly.
It's before mice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was way before mice. Yeah, she knocks the shit out of that dude because she knocks over something. He's like, "That's not the way. I know you're upset, but destroying property is not nice." It's like, psych.
I will say this. Her father must be a pretty good soldier because he's like giving them tactics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that tactical mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Like she destroys all that so that he goes and walks over there so that she can hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
solid.
She was taught
She was
right.
smart.
She does mention that too, how her dad wanted boys going to follow in his footsteps, but he had two girls. So
And once he realized we weren't going to whatever. Yeah.
he kind of took off.
Ranger school, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to Ranger school. So we find out that they're basically trying to, because those two nurses, the two arbitrary nurses, you know, they were talking about getting blood from everybody, like
Right.
a certain amount of blood.
Yeah, and they're like, if we do that,
Yeah, these are little kids, but that
300
teenager, yeah,
300
CCs.
yeah,
CCs,
yeah, she's like, that doesn't seem right. We won't get that out of those kids. And then also she's like, did you see her hair? What I wouldn't give for hair like that.
Well, they were saying that 300 cc's, she was like, won't that kill him? Because you can't take that much. And she's like, well, since we shut off all the brain activity,
Yeah.
they're pretty much just zombie, like
They're
body
blood
corpse.
factories. Yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be a problem. Now to the kids.
Yeah.
And you're
Let's
like,
go
what the
get 'em.
fuck?
Yeah. It's kind of
Her
weird.
hair was great.
Yeah. And then who is it? At this point too, that's when we find out that she gets away, doesn't she? She escapes.
She
'cause
escapes, yes.
hits with the keyboard. She's running through the place, and that's whenever she notices they're in that room. So she stops them from getting the kids, and she locks them up because it's laughing gas, right, or some shit like that. And then that's when Heck and her sister are coming because they know where they're at now.
Right.
So Heck pulls up and he sees the guard and he's like, hey, you like girls? He's got a Coors too. You know what I mean?
Playing
he's
it
like pulling
good
up.
and thick.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, hey, you like girls? Come over here. Heck Gomez is the name.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And then he opens up the trunk and she's in there and they get in there and he's got bombs and shit too.
Yeah.
He's got like dynamite.
Well, to me, when she,
You do. when
Yeah,
it's the
I
end of the
guess.
world.
when she's in the trunk, right, and she wakes up, it was like a really weird, like, pause.
Yeah.
She was like, eyes open. Okay, now attack. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, Heck's got it taken care of though.
Yeah.
Now, like the fence like stops at one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's
As
weird.
they don't.
Yeah, it's like it comes around this fence.
As is tradition.
Yeah. So the Dharma Initiative is infiltrated at this point.
Yeah.
So he's
Scientists, not tacticians.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
they're like, we don't have enough money for the rest of the fence. Fuck it. Just
we
post
cured
somebody up
AIDS.
over there, so we're good.
Got
Yeah.
the steel box to lock ourselves in. We're good.
Yeah. In the meantime, she's running around the whole bunker. Reggie is, and then
Yes.
Samantha goes down. That's not even the real Samantha in that shot too, because of budget constraints, and that's not even a real elevator in that. They just
Really?
use somebody's feet with her shoes on it.
Nice.
And yeah, so they made that whole scene kind of
Without
after
her.
the fact. Yeah,
Nice.
without her and stuff. And then she comes in and she almost shoots her too.
Yeah, she does.
She like turns around. She's like, whoa, it's just me. And they're like, oh, you're alive. Great. They told me you were dead.
You know, I'm glad she actually pulled the trigger because most people probably would in that scenario when they don't know. They're just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, good thing I missed. But,
Yeah. So she's ducking the whole everything, right? She gets away. She's pretty fast. They start going upstairs to the outside because Heck's
Yes.
already been putting bombs underneath their one fucking Land Rover.
Yeah, they have one vehicle.
Yeah. Between them
Smart.
all. Yeah, they don't even have a bus and shit. Not like the T-virus people. And then, or the coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. T-virus, coronavirus are all the same. And,
I don't even drink Corona, so I'm good, dude.
yeah, I know we're good.
perfect.
Yeah. And, so that's
I'm not
when,
even fake Mexican. Come on.
yeah, Jeffrey Lewis has changed in that
Yes.
big time.
Yes.
Just in the, what, 20 minutes or something like that. He's like gone fucking, he was the most effective. He must have been standing by the vent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
no joke.
Yeah, he was the one that
Yeah, he
fucked
takes
up.
the biggest turn for
Yeah,
sure.
because they're trying to develop that serum so they can get past it, but that's not going to work. Because he realizes after they shut the power off, he's like, life support. So he runs in there and they're all fucking beep, dead. And then they finally get upstairs and Heck takes off, right? Because they get the kids and Reggie's got the little bunny rabbit doll and shit like that.
Right.
So they're driving off and he stops and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Keep going. And it's like,
He's like, wait for it.
yeah, well, hold on. He reaches back and he flips him off. He's like, hey, I got something for you. And he like looks at his hand. And then Jeffrey
It's
Lewis,
pretty awkward.
yeah. And Jeffrey Lewis like, get him, and the dude's like, smells like gasoline. Cause like that dude wasn't affected as much, but
Right.
he was. And he's like,
Could just be like you said, proximity to duct or whatever.
yeah. And he's like, stop, don't start the car. And he starts, boom, fucking explodes. Cause he looks wicked in that
Yeah,
part too.
absolutely.
There's a good makeup job in that too. So they escape.
Dun, dun, dun.
They've made it back. So you can hear like thunder at that point too.
Yeah.
While they're driving back. So the rain actually washes away all the red dirt. And now it's a clean blue sky. It must have been probably weeks after the fact, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would have to think it's not like 2 days later and they're already fucking playing house and shit,
True.
Yeah. And, Samantha's all fucked up. She's mad because they're like, What are you
Because her
waiting
sister
for?
already always takes the...
Yeah, the little girl asks for the guns, too. The little girl's like, hey, if you don't want those anymore, can I have them?
Yeah.
And he just looks at her like,
Yeah, why are you waiting for the light?
Yeah, exactly. Right? So they're like, what are you doing? There's nobody here. That's when she almost gets hit by a fucking car. I mean, you can see it coming from like at least 2 blocks away.
Right.
And she still almost gets hit. And then the dude turns around and it's a valet dude, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa. I thought it was the only one. So, nice car. Cool. I got 16 of them.
Yeah. 21 of them or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. He had like a shitload.
23. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter.
But wait.
Yeah, we find out who it really is.
That's right.
It's Danny Mason Keener. As you know, DMK.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, he's like some rich dude
Callback.
that has all of those because he has his own vanity license plate. Do you think he made that? No.
No.
Yeah, he already had it made.
Yeah, I think he was already where he was.
Yeah. He was already a rich dude, so he must have been like, where would he have been at?
Who knows?
Maybe he was in an arcade. I don't know. he was in a safe. You know, like Scrooge
Bathing
McDuck.
in his money.
Yeah, Scrooge McFucking Duck. Which is weird.
And they ride away.
Yeah, they ride into the no sunset.
Yeah.
And then you get to find out, because, I mean, that's pretty crazy. You know that there's going to be more people out there in different cities. So the premise for it is a good start, but you know that we got a lot of love to give it. They really have that awesome song at the very end, because that's the second time they play. We got a lot of life to live. And they play football in the street, have a good time. So, you know, happily ever after, right? Great movie. One of the best of the 80s.
Yep.
Sci-fi movies, it's one of the top. Everything about it is just great.
I was really surprised to learn that the zombies weren't an original part of this story at all.
Really?
Yeah, so originally it was just about these girls in a post-apocalyptic world, right? But he realized part of the way through that he had to have like
A big bad or
an
something.
antithesis, you know, like a reason. So that's when he added it in. That's why, like, really, if you notice, there's not a lot of that in there.
No.
You know?
Yeah, it's just kind of what you would do afterwards.
Right.
Maybe it would have been too rapture-y if they didn't have that element.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he just didn't have an antagonist for him, you know, through most of the movie, because the scientist portion takes part later.
Yeah.
You know?
And eventually everybody turns into dust anyway.
Right.
Because that's what they say. There's a slower progression into the dust people.
Would you say dust in the wind?
Yeah, that brick dust that they use, because that's what they made it out of.
Oh, is it?
Crushed
that makes
bricks.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's why it looks, you know, like you're going to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma dirt is red.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I know that, let's see, in 2018, Orion Pictures hired Roxanne Benjamin.
Yes.
Let me pull my notes up on that.
She was like a fan of the movie. And she's written some pretty good ones too.
Well, they hired her in 2018 to write a remake.
Mm-hmm.
And she confirmed that she had already submitted the script in April of 2019. But yeah, she had done quite a few, and I don't know where my notes are on that.
Yeah, no, like for real, like Kelly Maroney was totally all about it. At all the cons that she's gone to, and so is Catherine Mary Stewart, or whatever her name is. They've all been on board with the remake for this, because this is ripe for a remake.
Oh, 100%.
Like I really think
you're already in that world.
Yeah, my whole thing about it, it seems like the zombie part of it was kind of thrown in, but you went really fast, and it was a 90-minute movie, hour and 40 minutes. Yeah. So it wasn't really too long. It was like 108 minutes, I think, is what the runtime is. But it didn't seem like, 95 minutes. It just didn't seem like it developed as much as it could. Because they really could. And if you don't redo it exactly the same way or try to use the same premise, but just kind of adapt it to the new world for it, it's going to be a great movie.
That's where I would go with it. You don't have to remake the same story. That story can already exist.
Yeah.
And you could build off of that.
Yeah.
And it could be 10 years later. It could be 24 years later, you know, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, maybe there's something new out there that's causing mutations or something like that, or the comet got stuck in orbit. You don't know about it. You know what I mean? It got stuck in something to where it comes back every 5 years. You know, so you always got to worry about that something. But yeah, no, I think this movie was one of the most you can't really say forgotten on it, but it is a piece of drop culture.
Yeah, I don't think that. You know, it just depends on when you were around if you remember this movie. I'm like, you know, Mitch has said he never heard of it.
Never.
Yeah. And the movie poster is fucking weird too, because it's a door to another dimension.
Right.
What the fuck is this? Like, there's so many things that are against what it should be, you know, but they've updated that for the Shout Factory reissue. They did a big Blu-ray where they have a lot of interviews and everything like that on it. They've done a really good job of preserving that film, which is pretty neat too, because they have a lot of stuff. That movie is iconic for the time, you know, as a post-apocalyptic movie that was more up to date, but also at the same time kind of a throwback.
Sure.
So, I mean, if it's Teenage Mutant Horror Comet Zombies or, you know, Teenage...
that was like the original name of it, right?
Something like that.
It was like Teenage Mutant... Yeah, Comet
Horror
Zombies.
Comet Zombies.
Something like that. I don't think horror was in there.
Well, that's what it says. Teenage
maybe it
Mutant
was.
Horror Comet Zombies.
Wow.
But it could be Teenage Mutant Zombies.
Whatever it was.
You guys should lather up and fight this out.
Oh, no.
No.
No?
No. I'm reading it.
Not, yeah, and I'm not that invested.
All right, go home, investors.
Of this Roxanne Benjamin, that's how I found my notes, by the way. She has directed some of the new Creep Shows segments. She directs a lot of TV stuff, but she was also, I believe, the writer or an actress on VHS. So she has some horror background.
Yeah. That's what I read about it too. There was a lot.
But so hopefully it's just somebody that takes it in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not even making a TV show out of it, because everything is being made into a TV show, and it's post-apocalyptic. The only post-apocalyptic TV show that could actually be out would be a Mad Max TV show. Bitchin'.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or we could just do a Tom and Jerry post-apocalyptic show.
Why not? Yeah, right.
Throwback.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Nice.
Call back.
But overall, Mitch, what'd you think?
I liked it. I actually did. Overall, it's not a movie that I'm going to watch every year. It's not like out of this world. It was a good movie. I liked it.
Dan?
I agree, and I think that because it didn't dig deep into the other stuff, that it moved at a fast clip. And it was an 80s movie, so you know it wasn't going to be more than about an hour and a half long anyways, generally.
Yeah.
But it moved at a fast clip and it made it entertaining. I would give it 4 Comets out of 5.
Ooh, that's a pretty good rating.
Yeah. I was thinking
For what it is, you know what I mean? Not like you said, you could dig further, deeper. That's a different movie. It's a different kind of movie.
Yeah.
For what this was, though, especially at the time with a $700,000 budget, dude.
for what they did, I would agree. 4 Comets.
Yeah, well, I go a full 5 Comets
Whoa.
because I watch this movie in phases, to where I'll watch it like 4 or 5 times in a week, every year or 2 years or something like that. Like, I watch it a lot.
Nice.
And I always go back to it. I just always enjoyed this movie.
Really worth it.
Yeah, for me, I've always like gone back to it and always seen it. Had it on VHS, didn't have it on VHS, had it on DVD, don't have it on DVD. But I you know, it's just one of those that I'll throw on at any time if I'm doing homework or something like that. I'm like, oh, another comment.
Boom.
Boom. And I have a good time with that movie. So it's one of
That's cool.
it's one of my top 100.
Nice.
One of these days I'm gonna have the list.
Oh my God. That's
be
going to
a
be
lot
a
of
crazy good list. Or an interesting list.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, but I love that movie. I really do. And The Last Starfighter too. Both of those movies coming out. Yeah, there was just a lot of good stuff that was happening.
And I know that there's talk of them remaking that movie too.
Yeah.
See, so this is again. We'll
Yeah.
I don't want to digress too far into that, but things.
Well,
Hopefully they're done right and they're done respectfully to the source material. And honestly, I don't care. I
That's what you
just
could
wish
hope for.
people had more ideas.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you could hope for if they do that. So we want to wrap it up, guys?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that was the Drop Culture Podcast. If this is your first time or if you're a return listener, thanks again for tuning in. We are on all of the social media platforms, of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Yeah, just look for Drop Culture Podcast.
Drop Culture Podcast. Go to the Drop Culture Podcast worldwide website, www.dropculture.com. There you go.
Right or you can even send us an email at dropculturepodcast@gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. We're kind of sick of it.
Yeah. No more dick pics. No.
Nothing.
But you could, if you wanted to, throw out a rating and a review on whatever pod spewer you prefer.
That would be good. Good. Cool.
It's what keeps the engine running.
Yeah, of course. I want to give a shout out to all of our podcast friends out there. Not for Everyone podcast. There is a podcast that I just listened to. If you're listening to this and you like what we did, especially with our episode on suicide, we were the first ones to really release a really long episode like that. There's a podcast out there called No Dogs in Space. It's on the Last Podcast Network, and they actually have done 2 episodes on suicide, and they did a 4 or 5 episode arc on the Stooges. So
nice.
Check those guys out. They're actually a pretty entertaining podcast for it. Just like the Not For Everyone podcast, Fountains of Fear podcast, every one of our friends out there on all of the podcasts. Enjoy.
And have a good night. Or have a
Drop Culture Day.
And good night.
Okay. All right. So,
are we going to start this?
Yeah. Let me do the intro real quick, but let me get to where I need to be. Let me have an intro. Is the intro working?
Sure. Whatever. Works for me.
Okay.
It's an intro.
Wait. What intro are you guys talking about?
Every intro.
Is this super meta and this is the intro?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I haven't edited it yet.
Bigger question. Is it the outro?
Uh-oh.